Happy Monday. Let's go. I was not planning on doing my video today, but I had just a absolute smasher of a morning. And as a dev, as fun as that is, like we're also here to build a successful business and, push well into that six-figure mark. And as I stand now, I'm not quite on track over the next year with my current client base to hit that. But here's why I think I'm like positioned to do that, how I'm doing that, and what that's going to kind of look like for me over this next year. So let's crack into a freshie here. We got the Breezeberry, Alani New here, and we're going to be getting into the niche of what I'm building and why, especially in today's world, if you're a software dev, building good software, that's just boilerplate stuff, right? Like those are table stakes, and so that's not what you're competing on. And I know for me personally, like that's definitely not an arena that I want to compete in, right? There are a good jillion programmers out there who can kick my butt. That's not what I'm going to compete on. So I'm going to talk to you about my first client, why I landed them, and why I'm going to really lean into that space. So my first client is in the health and fitness space, and she's a weight loss coach, and she's got a following on Instagram. And I originally connected with her, with a Loom video, and what I was able to connect with her on was that like I had a prior eating disorder, previously in my life, and I think that really just like humanized the situation. And I didn't really even talk about software at all, right? And I just kind of talked about how I can empathize with her client base. And then, oh, by the way, obviously I'm here that as someone who can like actually do that work. And again, doing that work is table stakes now. And so I don't want to compete on product because otherwise I'm going to be competing to zero. I don't want to compete to zero. I want to compete on this, right? Like I want to compete on my ability to communicate, understand their workflow between themselves as a coach with their clients. And so that's where I want to compete. I want to compete on providing a very specific customized software for a very specific niche of coaches online. And so that's what I'm here to talk about. The website for me is not something like I'm trying to drive traffic to, convert to leads, and then drive sales. It's more so like once I have a lead, if they want to see anything extra about me or what's going on, here it is. We can go on from there. But ultimately, we're going to build trust through communication, Loom videos, face-to-face conversations, whether that's Zoom or not, or in person. So I'm here because I kind of want to rip apart what I have because I don't think it speaks to my niche specifically. But I will tell you, this is kind of like version 2. So version 1 was, I build, React Native applications and in, web apps in Next.js. Okay, so do 1 billion other people, right? That's not a product or service that you're going to compete on. And so, as I said here, I think I've done a little bit better as to, okay, what do? We build a custom solution. Okay, so do a lot of people, and we do it specifically for, coaches, online coaches. Okay, I still don't think this is niche enough. Kind of break down, here's a little bit more about me. Trying to understand this whole part where I get into, understanding your client dynamics. I think again, I haven't like really drilled into this niche of these coaches. The whole coaching industry, online coaching industry, is so broad that I really need to hammer into. Like right now, I'm working with like a weight loss coach. Well, there's a lot of options, right? There could be like dietetics, someone in the dietetic space. It could be weight loss. It could be someone who's working with eating disorders specifically. And so for me, I think it's important that like I really even drill in further into that. I'm still trying to figure that out. Especially after like I've had success with just like my first client here so far. And then, I got like my portfolio work below, which doesn't accurately reflect my latest client, but I'll get that up to date. So what am I getting on, and like why do I think I can build this to like an actual successful business? Because ultimately, I'm going to compete on, hey, I have a specific understanding and knowledge of your customers that other, software agencies or freelancers don't have, right? And I do have that. and trying to stack that skill set. I think having the skill set of being a developer, that's slowly going to zero. It's just becoming a commoditized skill. There's this kid, and I apologize if I mess his name up. It's like Joa. He's on YouTube as well. I'll post him in my description. And this is something that he talks about that he struggled with for like a year and a half, maybe 2 years, where he just was, providing a skill set. And that's what I want to stay. And then how he spoke about how he really struggled to build his business once he realized, oh, wait, it's not the skill set I'm selling, it's the solution to my client that I'm selling. And so for me, it's these customized workflows really for the coach and the client that works for that particular community and that particular coaching style. That's the solution that I'm bringing, to the weight loss space, to the dietetic space, whatever it is. We'll see how as things progress. But ultimately, this will help, I think, keep me from competing on price and just competing on, hey, this is what we do. We do it really, really well, and you're going to love your end result, and it's going to help you accomplish, X, Y, Z. And so that's where I'm headed. I'm not by any means dialed on this. And so it's something that I'm forcing myself to spend a few hours a day on the marketing side, spending a ton of time interacting with people online. As fun as it is to vibe code now and just like bang out feature after feature after feature, at the end of the day, this is about, well, how do you build a $200,000, $300,000 business, with 70% margins, 60% margins? Like, what does that look like? And so how do you get there? And that's where I want to be more focused, and where I think I can kind of bring in some prior skill sets and really focus and work on my communication skills with clients, empathizing with their customers, and empathizing with their workflow. So as far as my website goes, I wanted to just kind of bring this up to show you that this is going to change a lot. And it's mostly for me to like slowly figure this out, what my niche looks like. Mostly it's just about me, what you can expect from me. And then obviously there's gonna be some, like, I have a huge portfolio update that I need to do here. That's actually like matches the service that I provide. So leave any comments or questions as far as like the niche that I've chosen, why it's not gonna work, why it's stupid, or maybe how I can lean into it better, how I can better contact those people. Because the name here is just, I think, really dialing in a niche, finding that clientele and making them know that you exist. And then finding the clientele where, they're not as price sensitive, right? Like they've already got a great, they're already running a large business. And so for them, it's like their biggest concern is quality of work being provided to them, and that the people that they're working with, they can trust. That's what I want to work on. Showing up and showing you, hey, you can trust me. Like, I got you, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. So that's what I'm really leaning into over this next year and trying to see how hard and far I can push this. Happy Monday. It's the best day of the week. I hope you have a great week. Get after it. Get on it. Let's have some fun.